You're 22 years old, your bank account is overdrawn, your rent is late, and you're standing in an alley behind a local art gallery, staring up at a cheap security camera with a dead red light. The gallery installed a system that batches its network handshakes to save money on bandwidth. That means when a connection drops, the monitoring center waits exactly 15 minutes before flagging it as a breach. 15 minutes is a lifetime. You don't pick the lock, you pop the hinges. Inside, you ignore the sculptures, walk straight to the back wall, and slice the landscape painting right out of its frame. You roll it up, walk out, and take it to a guy operating out of a pawn shop 2 towns over. He hands you $800 in crumpled 20s. He doesn't ask where it came from. You don't ask who he's selling it to. That $800 pays your rent, but it does something much more dangerous to your brain. It proves that the velvet ropes, the cameras, the warning signs, they are all theater. The system has holes, and you just learned exactly how to walk through them. 6 months later, local galleries aren't enough. You upgrade to regional museums. This requires observation. You spend weeks sitting on benches with a sketchbook, timing the guards. They walk the same perimeter every 42 minutes, stopping for coffee at the same exact time every shift. You shift your targets to 19th century European portraits. The black market pays upwards of $15,000 for a minor impressionist piece, provided the canvas is relatively clean. You buy a better car. You eat at restaurants where the waiters know your name. You start to believe you are outsmarting a rigid, archaic system that everyone else is too afraid to touch. But pulling 3 jobs in a single quarter creates data. Police databases connect the severed frames, the bypassed magnetic locks, and the specific era of the stolen pieces. You assume you are mastering the craft. In reality, you are just drawing a map directly to your front door for people who hunt for a living. By your 5th year, the local police aren't looking for you anymore. Your file has been passed up to a federal art crimes task force. They've linked your DNA from a dropped flashlight to high-value disappearances across 3 borders. The escalation triggers an Interpol alert, restricting your ability to travel under your real name. Interpol shares crime data across 196 countries. You're no longer David or Sarah. You're a reference code in a database, your face printed on foreign briefing folders. To survive, you have to move upstream. You stop dealing with street-level fences and start taking meetings with high-end brokers in places like Geneva. These brokers represent a different client, billionaires commissioning specific masterworks, locking them away in climate-controlled Freeport bunkers where the public will never see them again. You aren't a free agent anymore. You're a specialized, expendable contractor serving the wealthiest criminals. Reaching this tier requires killing whoever you used to be. You take your birth certificate, your driver's license, and your passport, and you incinerate them. Operating as a ghost takes constant maintenance. You burn your fingertips with acid to obscure ridges. You never use a credit card, you never register an email address, and you never carry a phone that connects to a cellular tower. You sleep in cash-rented, brutalist apartments in Vienna. Bare walls, a floor mattress, and a packed bag. No friends, no partners, no emergency contacts. Your mornings start with a mirror on a telescopic pole, sweeping your rental car's undercarriage for magnetic GPS trackers. You memorize faces of people walking dogs on your street, looking for anyone who appears twice. At this level, checking the room for listening devices isn't an anxiety disorder. It is the only remaining survival mechanism keeping you out of a federal penitentiary. There is only one target left that matches your required payout: the Louvre in Paris, the most heavily fortified art museum in existence. You spend 14 months obsessing over structural blueprints, guard rotations, and response times. All of that preparation is designed to buy you a single 47-second execution window. You have to spoof the thermal imaging cameras with ambient heat emitters, then navigate a grid of piezoelectric floor sensors that trigger an alarm if they detect a weight shift of more than 3 pounds. You bypass the glass, you extract the panel, and you walk out with the Mona Lisa. But holding the most famous painting in human history isn't a victory lap. By taking it, you have crossed a line that guarantees you can never return to a normal society. You fence the piece through an encrypted dark web forum. A buyer transfers $300 million in Monero directly to your cold wallet. Monero is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency that obfuscates the sender, receiver, and transaction amount, making it virtually impossible to trace. But the massive payout is entirely useless. If you try to convert even $10,000 into fiat currency to buy a house or a car, the global financial monitoring systems will flag the transaction immediately. So you sit in a sprawling, anonymous villa. You order groceries through a proxy. You watch television. You are a billionaire who lives under the exact same conditions as a prisoner in solitary confinement. While you stare at the walls, halfway across the world, a 22-year-old kid with an overdrawn bank account is standing in an alley behind a local gallery. He's looking up at a cheap security camera, waiting for the red light to blink out. You didn't steal the art. The art stole your existence.
And the trap is already resetting for the next person.